Hi everyone, I'm Jono Allen, here in the MightyHIP Studio today. I'm a professional bass player in the DMV area. I'm in a couple of bands. And today I'd like to show you the Boss DR880, which is a drum and bass machine. And I'd like to show you a couple of fun things I do as a bass player on this device. As I said earlier, this is a drum and bass machine. However, for this purpose of this video, I'm just going to go and show you some of the things as a bass player that I would use. There are 40 tones in that come with the DR880, and we haven't done anything. We haven't manipulated the sounds. These are the raw sounds that the device comes with. And to give you an idea of some of the different sounds, we'll go through a few. And there we have it. So I like an upright bass sound myself, so I want to go back down and we'll use this one. Now you can change the octave by pressing Shift and holding down the pad button. And when you start with minus, that is a lower octave. You hit Shift pad again and you get the higher octave for +1. And when you get the middle, it's just bass. Alright, so now we have our sound. Let's play. The nice thing about this is set up like a 4-string bass, which all upright basses are. This first row is your open string, the E, A, D, and G. And then again, this is your first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret. And today we'll just go over a very simple major and minor scale. We'll do a major scale in F. And so that's second finger F, your fourth finger G, your first finger A, your second finger B flat, your fourth finger C, your first finger D, your third finger E, and your fourth finger F. And there you have it. F major. And if you wanted to do an F minor scale, it's the same fingering as you would use your left hand on the bass, which is first finger, third finger, fourth finger, first finger, third finger, fourth finger, first finger, third finger. And there you have it. If you want to do something a little more exciting than just a major minor scale, we can work on an F blues if you like. And here we go. We have the F, the G sharp, B flat, B, the C, E flat, and F. And we can play around that. That's pretty common in jazz. So F blues. So this E is the open string E, as you would see on a bass, which is right here. And the octave of that E, which is here, is the same as the second fret on the D string, which is here. Now, if you, and you'll, as we said, now, he gives you the first 4 frets, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And you have the open E to the B, which is on the G string, which is the 4th fret. Now, if you are worried about being limited, as you can see, there's more frets down on the bass. You don't have to worry because you can change the, as I showed before, you can change the octave. So when we hit Shift and bass pad, and go to +1, that same E, the second fret on the bass, has now moved from this position on E down to as the same as the open E where it was before. So I'll go back. We are in the medium, just the bass, in the pad bank of his bass. So that was the low E, the open E. And when you shift pad to the +1 bass, now you have the octave as your low E. And from there, now you can have the total range as, past this 4th fret. It's the same as moving your finger on the E string, the lower string, to the 12th fret. And now you can play up there. And as I just showed, that we can move chromatically up on this on the device, the DR880. So starting again on the E. And you have all the notes you need to make every scale that you would need to play any music. You are not limited by the number of buttons you see. You can play every scale and you can play every note. You just have to shift the octave. And to show you the lower octave, let's say this is set up for a 4-string bass, but let's say you're used to having that low B string. You have that option too. Now I have not seen a bass myself with an E string that goes below the normal low E, but this would be the B string on a 5-string or 6-string bass. And on here on the device, it has 13 as the E. This E, that E is the higher octave of the now low E. When we go back to shift on the bass, the middle, you'll see that where we had it, we just moved that E down to its position on number 1. So, to simplify everything, you can shift the octave to fit the sound you're looking for. If you're used to playing a 5-string, you can play that same. You get the same low. If you're used to playing in the upper register, maybe you're a jazz soloist, you can play that same style just by shifting the octave. Now I'm going to do a quick overview of the MIDI functions of this. Again, the Boss DR880. Now, MIDI transfers data, not sound. So you're able to transfer the sounds of a keyboard through this device into our mixer. We have, for the sake of this part of the video, we've turned down the bass sound, and what you'll hear is just a piano. The keyboard's to my right, and here is, again, the F from earlier. Yeah, and it's perfect if you have a keyboard if you're a bass player and you have a keyboard in your home, and you want to try working on something for a song, you just want to hear the piano sound, but you're not quite familiar with it, as the instrument of the piano. You can take your knowledge of bass and apply it to, again, this device, and you can work out some interesting things, like going with the F from earlier, like the F blues. We did the F major and the F minor. And since you have a piano sound, you can start doing some chords. And that's, if the F major scale, an F major chord would be F, A, C. And an F minor scale would be, you move the third down a half step, which is, moving from A to A flat. So. And really, when they get funky, you can do a little bit of a blues with this piano hooked into the MIDI. it goes up to the 5th at that point. Now you have to change how you're gonna, if you're looking at a device and it's not the same fingering as the bass, and that's the same, your left hand are not the same as the piano. How are you gonna make a chord? Now the C is what we're going to make the C chord, C minor chord. Now before, we could just put our, again, our first, our fourth, and third finger and move it up, just again like moving up a string, moving up your whole finger. And you could switch the octave to, if that was let's see how that sounds. Now we made it lower, and that's the same. That's as low as you can get on the piano. It's the same note, and all through MIDI, hooked up from MIDI. This white cable, again, it's just data. It's not the sound, but the C. Fingering you can use to make the C, make a C scale, a C chord. Forgive me. So here's the F minor, F, A flat, C, B flat, D flat, F. You can't move it if we had another fret, which is what we really need to keep the same kind of a couple of frets to keep the same fingering. But since we don't, we can, see what the notes we are. We need a C, an E flat, and a G to make the C minor chord for our F blues. And that, so we'll, in playing around with it and using it, you'll find different ways to kind of shortcut making the chords. But as you can see, we've been playing piano this entire time, and before I showed you the bass function. So this is an incredibly versatile device, and it's been a lot of fun to work with today. It's been a lot of fun. I'm Jono Allen. You can find me on social media at Facebook and Jono Allen, on Twitter at Bassman Jono, and I have an album that's available for purchase on Bandcamp, and you search for Bassman Jono. If you go to MightyHIP.com, you'll be able to find where I'm performing next. Thank you so much again.